It's the goal of nearly every pastor to have a congregation full of people excited about their faith, deeply committed to the church's mission, living fully aware of God's presence and leading in their lives, and then seeing those people form a congregation that's vibrant, alive, bold, and faithful to the message of the gospel. How do you work toward that goal? One way is to help train pastors to understand their own role.
What we hope in the Academy is that pastors get a fundamental grasp for spiritually focused, servant-led church renewal, and also that they would know how then to interpret it and do it in a local congregation.
David Young's vision for helping renew the church grew out of a strong prayer life and a belief that the experience of the woman at the well, described in the Gospel of John, is similar to what we all want and need.
That they thirst for more, a thirst given of God, to be closer to Christ, and then they encounter Christ through our work, the spiritual disciplines. And our lives are transformed as we come closer and walk those disciplines daily.
What has emerged from that thinking is a church renewal initiative called Springs of Living Water, whereby congregations are revitalized by the renewal of the individuals that make up the congregations. At the heart of this effort is an intentional practicing of the spiritual disciplines identified by Richard Foster in his classic book Celebration of Discipline, The Path to Spiritual Growth. And a major component of how Springs of Living Water helps make that happen is something called the Springs Academy.
We're interacting as a group of pastors along with our leader David Young in exploring what it means to be renewed and how to go about doing that.
One of the biggest things it's done for us is it's helped us grow closer to God.
It's been a fun challenge to think about these classic spiritual disciplines and how to work with an established congregation and implement those into the life of our shared life together.
It has helped me as a minister to see what is the most important things in my ministry.
The 12-week Academy course consists of 5 two-hour interactive conference calls, joining all the students in the Academy with their instructor, David Young.
And during those 5 sessions, they are actually participating in spiritual disciplines, using a basic spiritual disciplines folder like their congregation would use, and daily meditating on the text and following it like the early brethren would speak about. Along with that, they read a devotional classic. In the Foundations class, they read Richard Foster's Celebration of Discipline, which provides a discipline of the week for all those 12 weeks.
In addition to personal growth, participants in the class also learn how to guide a congregation into a deeper spiritual walk and learn a servant leadership approach to helping a congregation discern where God is calling it as a body to reach out in mission. It's described in the textbook used by the Academy, Springs of Living Water, Christ-Centered Church Renewal by David Young. During the conference calls, pastors discuss their readings with each other and share insights.
It is a great course if you're entering church renewal to learn what the steps and the process is for congregational renewal.
It's given me a clear understanding of some of the steps for renewal.
Participants in the class discover that as they exercise spiritual disciplines themselves, such as prayer, meditation, fasting, service, and others, they are better equipped to teach them to the congregation.
We're anticipating for that working of God, getting ourselves ready to be receptive to it. And it's provided a sense of training for us to pass on to our congregations, engaging our congregations in the work of renewal and transformation.
The conference calls are great because we obviously get to meet and work with David, who's put together the Springs program, but also to get the interaction from how other congregations are thinking about applying the concepts and really seeing how the disciplines that are found in the New Testament can apply to Christians in a whole variety of situations and contexts.
What has amazed me is how quickly it goes. And I think that's because of the leader. I think that's also because of the material and the kind of excitement and anticipation the members bring to it. So when we're done at the end of the 2 hours, and this has not failed, since I've been taking these courses. I wonder where the time has gone and can't believe that we're at an end.
In between sessions, David Young makes what are called shepherding calls to each of the students.
He mentors us. He asks questions about what's going on and how we're interacting with the church and how we're using the material and those kinds of things. He lets me talk about ideas and things that worked and things that didn't work and things that are happening in the church and in my own life. And he becomes a mentor and a pastor to me and to the church.
There's also a small group within the congregation that meets with the pastor regularly to stay informed on the process. And then each Academy member writes a summary paper,
where pastors pull together all the learnings and they see how it can apply to their own congregation.
It helps us to kind of reassess where we've been through our class time, as well as looking ahead as to how we might put this to use then in the life of the congregation.
The overarching question, of course, is where is God leading our church? And in all my years of teaching, I have never seen such a powerful learning experience that seems to be the intermingling of doing the disciplines, the course of study, the interactive calls, the group walking along, and tying it all together in that seminal paper. So it's been a wonderful, inspiring experience, humbling to see what happens in that basic 12 weeks.
Both Academy classes, Foundations for Christ-Centered Church Renewal, and the Level 2 class, Servant Leadership for Church Renewal, are designed to equip pastors to be able to guide their congregations through their own version of church renewal. However, pastors whose congregations are not involved in the formal Springs of Living Water effort can still benefit from taking the class and experience the growth that happens as we practice spiritual disciplines.
I think the ministry of Springs can play an enormous and perhaps even indispensable role to the work of renewal in the church today.
It's not a guaranteed pathway toward revival, not a guaranteed pathway toward church growth, but when we are renewed and when we are centered on Christ and when we are committed to following Christ, good things come from that.
Academy courses are offered several times a year. To enroll or to learn more about how your congregation can get involved in Springs of Living Water, contact David or Joan Young at Springs of Living Water.